Hey mamas, welcome to today's workout. Today's workout is specifically for my C-section mamas, myself included. We're gonna prep for our surgery with a good workout. It's gonna be gentle, it's gonna be mobility based, and it's gonna be fun. So let's get started. We're not gonna warm up because most of our exercises are gentle enough to where we don't need one. So let's start with a good morning. Feet under your hips, hands by your temples, and then we're gonna hinge the hips back, bringing that back parallel to the floor or as low as you can get with your belly, all things considered. And then you're pushing your butt back. I want that weight pushing in through your heels, and then when you stand up, watch my hips. They stop right here. I want you to squeeze your butt. So I don't want you to bring your hips forward. I want you to stop them right here, and that's gonna keep that work in your glutes, and then you give them a big squeeze right here. Lift that chest tall, pull your belly button in toward your spine. So you can feel this one has a nice stretch for that back body, your lower back, your hamstrings. We're engaging our glutes and our core, and that's how everything is gonna be today, gentle, but we're really gonna work on those muscles that we wanna prepare for our C-section and that are gonna help us recover post-C-section. Rest. All right, we're gonna do a deep squat with a reach. So I want you to take your feet nice and wide as is comfortable for you. Toes out just a little bit. We're gonna reach toward the floor. And then stand up, clap the hands at the top. Do it again, reach, stand up. Now, if you cannot go all the way to the floor, totally fine. I'm gonna show you what I'm doing from the side. I want you to make sure, whether you're touching the floor or not, you're dropping your butt back and keeping your chest up. Do you see how my chest is tall, my back is straight? If you start doing this to get to the floor, I want you to just stop a little higher up. That way we're still getting that work in the hips and the glutes, but we're not compromising spinal integrity because our backs already are feeling enough pressure from baby. We don't want to add to it. Now you can see we're starting to get our heart rates up a little. Take it as slow as you need to. If you're getting ready to have surgery, rest. Maybe you need to go a little slower. I'm right there with you. I'm about 36 weeks, just a couple weeks away from my C-section. All right, we're going to bring those feet a little closer together, arms out front. We're gonna squat and stay down, static squat. So those legs are gonna burn right here. You can keep your arms here. You can keep them here, but I want them off your legs. I want your hips back, weight in your heels so you can wiggle those toes for me. And if you need to, you can come a little higher. So regardless of how low you are, I want you to keep that load in the legs, chest up, abs tight. So from the side, it looks like this. If you can, drop it a little lower for me. We got less than 20 seconds here. This one's gonna be a tough one. Breathe into those muscles, come on. We're working that endurance right here. They're gonna ask you to get up and walk the same day as your surgery, so we wanna make those legs strong. 3, 2, 1, good work. All right, we're gonna do lateral lunges, alternating legs. So feet under your hips, we're gonna step out to the right and reach forward as those hips go back. Here we go. Step out, step together, opposite side, step together. Now you can see I'm hinging forward from my hips, but my chest again is still up, back is nice and straight, shoulders are back and down. As I step out, it's a big stride, right? Toes are straight ahead, hips push back so you get that work in the glutes. And then I'm reaching toward the floor, but I'm not quite touching. And again, that's going to vary based on how flexible you are, how big your belly is, how good you feel doing that. So if you need to reduce the range, not go quite as low today, that's great. Again, we're being adaptable. That's what pregnancy is all about, working at our own level of intensity. Last one. Time. All right, come to the back of your mat. We're gonna do an inchworm. So we're gonna crawl forward into a plank and then crawl back up. Work on that hip mobility, get some shoulders and core. Let's go. So feet nice and wide, crawl forward into a plank, bring those shoulders over your wrists. You can drop your knees here if you need to. Then I want you to crawl back. Again, hips are low, chest is up, stand up. So do you see what I'm doing first? I'm dropping my hips and putting my hands down and then bracing the core. Again, if you need to, drop your knees here and then crawling back up. So we're really working on that hip mobility here. If you feel good, you can start to speed up your movements a little, but if you need to, stay nice and slow Again, it's more about being slow and controlled and having good technique than going really fast in all these exercises. And rest. All right, we're gonna come down to the knees now for a cat-cow. So hands under shoulders, knees are underneath the hips. We're gonna arch the back, look up, round the back, tuck that chin. So we're releasing the belly and the pelvic floor, and then we're engaging, pulling the belly button in toward the spine here. Keep flowing at your own pace. We want those shoulders over wrists, pelvic floor engaged right here, pulling that belly in. This exercise is gentle, but it's also really firing those deep core and pelvic floor muscles, which we want to get strong. It's what's going to get us through that surgery, plus help us recover faster after, especially with that severing of the abdominal muscles. We really want to work on getting the abs strong, and they will repair faster if we work on that. All right, rest. We're gonna move to a bird dog. So if you wanna shift back onto your hips just for a second, we're gonna come right back to that tabletop position. And front arm, back leg, lift up and switch. So opposite arm and leg. That arm is going to shoulder height, that leg is going to hip height. And then you're bringing that hand back under your shoulder and the knee back under your hip. We wanna stay balanced here, so move nice and slow as you lift. Pull your belly button in toward your spine, brace your core, and then press out of the hand on the floor. Keep that shoulder directly over your wrist and hips square to the floor. We want to make sure we're not opening or rotating through the hips. That way we keep that work in the core. That includes that back of the body and our glutes as well. This would probably be my #1 pregnancy core exercise right here. You cannot do enough of these. So beneficial for you and for positioning for baby. Rest. All right, we're moving to a reverse tabletop bridge. So come on over onto your butt. Hands under shoulders, fingertips fan out. We're gonna bring those feet a little away from the hips and then drive through the heels, lift those hips up, and then drop the hips back down. Let's do that again. Drive them up and down. Pushing out of your heels, pushing out of your hands, bracing your core at the top, and then as high as you can get those hips while keeping the work in your glutes. So I want you to feel it in the back of your legs and your butt, not in the front of your legs. Now the bigger your belly is, the wider you may need to take your feet, and that is great. You may not also be able to get your hips as high, and that is normal. It's more pressure, but we wanna pull that belly in at the top, squeeze, and pull in that pelvic floor like you're swelling a blueberry. It should feel really tight and engaged. And release. All right, we're gonna add to that a toe tap this time. So we're gonna lift and tap one leg at a time in that tabletop bridge. Here we go. So we tap and then drop the hips. Tap and then drop the hips. Now I said toe tap, it's really a heel tap. So we're pushing through that heel that's on the floor and then just lightly tapping that other leg. Extend it as far away as you can. But if you need to, just don't take it as far away. That might make it feel easier for you. Doesn't look like much, but this exercise is really challenging, especially the further along you get in your pregnancy, because you've got a lot of weight on the front of your body. Makes it challenging to lift it off the floor. Those arms are working as well. You can feel it in your triceps, shoulders. It's really a full body exercise. And rest. All right, we're gonna move on to our hands and knees again for a hydrant. So knees under hips, hands under shoulders. We're gonna lift that front leg, take it up and down. So that knee is at 90 degrees and we're driving that knee nice and high. No higher than the hip. We wanna keep our chest and hips square to the floor, and we wanna avoid leaning to one side here. So brace by pulling your belly button in toward your spine. Nice and controlled here. We really wanna focus on that breath. Deep breath in, pull that belly button in toward your spine at the top as you exhale. That's gonna help fire up those deep core muscles. And I'm talking about that a lot because it's so important for maintaining or gaining a strong core during pregnancy. You can rest, but it's important for recovery as well. All right, we're gonna stay on that same leg, do a kickback. 3, 2, 1, flex that foot, drive the leg back to hip level, bring that knee back in. We're keeping that leg off the floor the whole time, just moving it back and in. Now you don't have to pull it in very far. I'm just stopping right under my hip. I want you to focus on driving back through that heel, squeezing your butt. Leg should be hip level or below. We don't want to go too high because that work is safely in the back and the glute. We want to keep it there. Going too high will overextend into that low back. And we don't want to put excess pressure on that. Shoulders are burning too. So even though we're doing a lot of leg and lower body stuff, we're still working the shoulders. All these moves are working your core. And again, that's really gonna allow for a faster recovery, make it more comfortable for you. Release. All right, we're gonna move to a side plank. So I want you to drop that hip on the floor, bend your bottom arm, extend your top arm, bend the bottom leg, and reach. We're gonna hold it here for 50 seconds, and we're lifting through that underside of the waist, and just breathing here. As you exhale, engage that core, pull the belly button in toward your spine. Engage that pelvic floor. We really want to keep that hip lifted here. Push through that arm so your shoulder's away from your ear. Even though we're not moving, you can tell your body's working really hard here. All right, moving back to the hydrant. This time we're gonna go opposite leg. So, hands back under those shoulders, knees back under the hips. Lift and lightly tap on the floor. You can bring in that breath work. Engage that pelvic floor and TVA at the top. So I know a lot of you are doing this workout because you're preparing for a C-section, and I am too, just a couple weeks away. But once you've had your C-section, or if you have had one, then check out my playlist. I have a ton of C-section workouts. This will be my second one, so I'll do more after I'm cleared to work out again, but I wanna help you on your recovery journey as well. All right, we're gonna stay on that same side, shift back if you'd like. We're gonna bring in that kickback. Bring it forward, knee off the floor, drive it back. Now it's not a jerky movement. We're moving really smoothly, but I want you to push through your heel actively, like there's a brick wall behind you. You wanna create power without moving in like a jerky way. So make it smooth, but also really squeeze that booty at the top. Both hips are working hard. We're almost to the end. I know you're feeling fatigued. Stay with me. Push through those hands, keep the hips square to the floor. We're almost there, last 10 seconds. Rest. All right, let's finish it out with that side forearm plank. So bend the bottom leg, extend the top leg. Top arm is gonna reach up and lift, breathe. You can also put this hand on your hip. Then I want you to think about that underside of your waist. Are you lifting? Are you pulling that belly in? Are you pushing through your forearm? Halfway there. Keep reaching, keep lifting. So many benefits to this workout. It's gonna get you ready for that C-section, help you recover faster. So do it as many times as you'd like, up to 3 times, 4 times a week, and it'll get you ready for your surgery and help you recover faster. Be sure to check out my other C-section workouts and prenatal workouts to get you strong and healthy in your pregnancy and then postpartum. And I'll see you back here for our next workout together.